Hey everyone, this is Michael from the editing room. Just want to give you a quick heads up before we get the episode started. Our recordings were a little rough this week. I'm not really sure what the exact cause was, but I'm looking into it so we can ensure quality for future episodes. But with that warning out of the way, I hope you'll enjoy listening regardless of the dip in quality. Thanks.
Player 2 has entered the podcast.
Welcome back, people, to Player 2 has entered the podcast. That show about video games, nerd stuff, and two friends catching up for the week. I am your co-host, Michael, aka MC Paperstacks, and with me, as always, is my co-host with the co-most,
Derek, aka Full Metal Murd. I'm back for another exciting episode, baby.
So exciting. I feel like we can't call every episode exciting because then none of them are exciting.
For another mildly entertaining episode of Player 2.
Oh, well, no, we can't disparage ourselves.
For another episode of Player 2. Just keep it neutral. It's another episode.
Another fact-based episode. We will discuss video games. We will go on tangents.
No emotions, just facts.
Zero emotion. We will not discuss politics. No, that's not happening.
We're not going to do that.
But no, we will discuss video games. That's what we do. How's your week been going?
Oh man, it's been going pretty good. I've been coming across some things that have really just brought joy into my life. I visited a local toy store by the name of Grayskull Collectibles in Indianapolis, Indiana. Woo, boy. So it's so cool because the owner, he's so fucking dope. Like he was going to this convention where he's going to buy toys and bring them back. I told him, I said, hey, I collect Final Fantasy, Tekken, and what was the last thing?
You don't remember what you collect?
Digimon.
Oh, okay.
Final Fantasy, Tekken, and Digimon.
Digital
and
monsters.
My man brought back a Final Fantasy X Bahamut figure, complete.
Bahamut.
Well, not with the box, but like the figure had everything it needed with it. Oh my god, it was so beautiful. So beautiful.
It is a nice design.
Oh my god. When you see the figure in person, you're like, god damn, this thing is like intricate. It's
the colors, Duke. The colors. It's my second favorite Bahamut design. If I wasn't such a sucker for edgelords and like gothic design, it probably would be my favorite because it is really cool. But to me, the ultimate Bahamut will always be Final Fantasy IX. That dragon doesn't even have eyes. Can't mess with it.
Yeah. I'm also a big fan of Bahamut Zero from Final Fantasy VII.
Sure.
Space Bahamut.
I was going to say they had like
three of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a little Toho with the Bahamut.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy VII, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. What else did he have? He had a Quistis and a Renoa and Angelo figure from Final Fantasy VIII. I grabbed those too. It's just, so amazing. And I made
Does
a new...
Angelo have like arm locking action? Can she?
No. No, I wish he did. Oh my god. Yeah. So it just inspired me to like open up some of my other Final Fantasy figures that I have that were in the box. Like I had a Cloud from Advent Children. I had a Final Fantasy VIII Squall. They're both like, what are they, like 10 inches, 12 inches, something like that. And they're just so dope. Squall's got his gunblade. Cloud's got his Buster Sword.
I got this Tidus over here. He's a foot
I know
long,
you do,
man.
but you don't have the Brotherhood. You don't have the Brotherhood sword, man. No. I need a sword with that ball. Although, I might talk to you after, because if I look up and find that the sword is not that expensive, I might just have to cop it off.
Yeah. I bet we could make one. We'll get one of those Lisa Frank pencil cases with the gel and the glitter. Just cut a sword out of it. That's basically what it is.
It's going to be the most whack looking.
No, it won't. It'll be amazing. There might be a little bit too much glitter in there, but it'll glisten like it's supposed to. Don't worry.
Tidus, Lisa Frank edition.
It's Sparkle.
Right. Blitzball, baby.
That's right.
But yeah,
that's right.
That's pretty much like the most exciting thing that happened to me this week. I forget everything else that happened. I don't know. My memory is very bad. Like you said earlier, we got to take notes. Got to start taking notes on cool shit that happens to us throughout the week. Because,
I've been getting better habit taking notes, especially when I play new games. Because sometimes I feel like my thoughts, especially on a new game, especially when I get a decent chunk of amount of time playing it. I have all the stuff I want to say, and then we do the episode, and then afterwards I'm like, shit, I forgot to say this, and then I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
Like when I was talking about
Mm-hmm.
Cyberpunk, and I forgot that I was playing the PS5 without a gun. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
then I had to talk about it next week, and it's just, I'd rather talk about it at the time. So I get you.
Yeah.
Well, we guys, we're learning. We've been doing this for 2 years. Come back and see us when we've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah.
If I come back, I mean, listen to us for the next 3 years. But then
Continue.
bring your expectations with you in 5 years.
They're gonna get there 5 years later. Today's the day.
They finally have their shit together.
Right.
Welcome back to, damn it.
I'm your host.
We still don't have it together. Oh God. All right. Well, let's move on then. This week, video games wise, what you playing?
Team Sonic Racing dropped on PlayStation Plus as one of the free games, along with Ghost Runner and Ark. I downloaded Team Sonic Racing because I've always been wanting to play that since it came out, and oh my god, this game is unforgiving. It is no Mario Kart. Let me say that. Me and Nora were playing it. We were playing against the computer, and it was like normal mode or whatever. I did not get first place once. I got third. I got fourth. I got fifth. But man, if you get hit in that game, it's damn near over for you.
Wow.
Like, besides the fact that I don't know what any of the power-ups did when I got them, because it's like they just look like chows. I had no idea what they did, so I was just like pressing the the weapon button, and it was like, oh, it's a cube that it shoots out behind you like a fake Mario Kart cube. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That didn't help me at all. I wish I would have known to use that at the other time. Okay.
It sounds like you being new to the game combined with a lack of rubber banding, which is, what Mario Kart is known to do to help even out races, is what shot you in the foot there. Yeah. Maybe a game to get good at, but if you're going in expecting a Mario Kart experience, coming out disappointed. If you're going in expecting Danica Patrick, coming out succeeded.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's all I really have to say about Team Sonic Racing. I'm probably not going to drop it. I will. Well, actually, no. I will say that it looks fucking amazing. Like, it looks great.
I agree with that.
Graphics look great. Yeah, graphics look great.
They gave it away a while back too, which is what's confusing me. Are they like re-giving away new, like older games they already gave away? Because I got it for free.
Huh.
I mean, you know what? They gave it on Xbox Live Gold. That's what it was.
Okay.
I played it on Xbox. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I tried it out, and I dug it, but obviously I didn't stick around and keep playing it, or I'd talk about it more. So it is what it is. Well, cool. What else you play this week?
I played some more of Horizon Chicken Forbidden Breast. Horizon Forbidden West, for those that didn't get the joke. Like I said, I'm loving it more and more. Last week I said the story was getting kind of boring, and immediately after we got done recording and I went to play, they dropped a huge bombshell on me. I was like, whoa, fuck. I wish this would have happened before we recorded.
Yeah, Big Nick was losing his shit on Discord. He was like, you assholes. And like people were like, dogpiling and leaning in. And I was like, so basically what you're saying is Horizon Forbidden West is the worst game ever and nobody should buy it. But I had already known because you had told me that the story had picked up. So I knew we were going to say more positive things about it this week. But I thought it was funny. He was so frustrated because he's way ahead of you. So he's like, no, you don't. Yeah. How long did it take you to get to a good story? Like how many hours of play?
I think if you're just going through the main story missions, you can probably get to that part in maybe 4 hours. 3 to 5 hours.
Isn't that typically what you do, though? I thought that's what you were doing. Were you staying and playing?
Well, usually that's what I do, but this time I was like, wow, this world is beautiful. Let me go around here and check out these question marks real quick, see what's going on. I'm doing side quests and stuff, man. Like, I want to see everything. There are things in this game that I'd be upset if I didn't find.
Okay.
Like, there's legit secrets to be found.
Ooh.
There's an area where you find out some people went through a cave. Not through a cave, through like a highway tunnel. And they're like, oh, our caravan got attacked and we got fucked up. I don't know what it was. And you're going through the tunnel and you hear like this bellowing. And you're like, what the fuck is that? What is it? And then you get there, it's like a rock breaker, which was in the first game, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a regular enemy, I don't think, that shows up. This is the only place I've encountered it so far.
Okay. That's neat.
Yeah, it was a dope fight. And you get this very rare armor for it. And that's another thing. The rewards for doing side quests and exploring are pretty damn good because these enemies are fucking hard sometimes. I would say Horizon is basically Dark Souls without a stamina bar. Like if there was a stamina bar for dodging in Horizon, it'd be so fucking hard. But since you have
Mm,
infinite dodges, you're good. You're good to go. But oh my god,
okay.
Thunderjaw is still a fucking beast. The first time I went up against one of those, he just fucking murdered me in like 2 hits. I was like, what is going on?
That's exciting. You're making me want to play this game. I'm gonna have to borrow it when you get done for
Oh,
sure.
you are gonna borrow it, you fucking no, I'm just playing. I'm
What's
borrowing
wrong
all
with me
my
borrowing a
shit.
game from you?
Nothing.
I loan you shit. Shut
It's
up.
nothing. What's the last thing you loaned me?
Darkrai, which I have not received back.
Okay, a fucking Pokemon.
Hey, I don't give a fuck. That's mine, and I loaned it to you.
I can get it back to you tonight. I don't care. I don't need it
Yeah, I bet
anymore.
you don't
But
care. I bet you don't need
yeah.
it.
What else?
Don't
What
give it
else?
back to me, so I have something to bitch about next week.
Right. But yeah, the enemy the enemy designs, there are new monsters that are super dope, and there's actually a
Mhm.
story reason why there are new monsters or new robots
Okay.
and stuff, new machines.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting because it's like, why are there fucking raptors now? Why are there these more aggressive machines? It's like, yeah, there's a story reason for that. So it's like, okay, cool.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Lance Reddick on there, Lance Reddick-ing it up.
Yeah.
That's the guy from, was it Fringe and John Wick, the hotel manager?
Among
Yeah,
other things. Yeah.
yeah, among other things. So that's what I know him from. Yeah, I love it, man. When I play it, I'm playing for like 3 hours at a time at least. Like
Wow.
I can't
Okay.
put it down. Like I know last week I was like, oh no, but I can't put it down because it's always something.
It's got its hooks in you now. Okay.
And there's so much variety to the combat. There's like I have
Mm.
like 18 fucking weapons right now. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, some of them are like reskins or whatever, or they just have a different type of ammo. But there are still weapons that I haven't even like purchased yet. Because I'm like, do I even need this weapon? I don't know. Get this weapon.
Okay.
There's a weapon that I don't think this was in the first game that shoots like elemental canisters and they latch on, and when you shoot it with the arrow of the same element, it causes a chain
It,
reaction and it
yeah.
explodes.
There was a similar, I don't know if it's done the exact same way, but there was a similar mechanic in the original game because obviously the conceit of the original game is that you can weaken these monsters by knocking pieces off of them. And so a lot of the attacks revolved around ways to explode pieces off, corrode them away, burn
Mm-hmm.
them off, different things like
Mm-hmm.
that, right?
Yeah,
It sounds awesome. How would you compare the variety to, say, Ghost of Tsushima and its wide range of combat options?
mm, well, it's kind of hard because, like I said, this just has really the variety comes in the different types of weapons. Ghost of Tsushima, it was like you can go in hard and fast, or you go in quiet.
Well, that's a little reductive to Ghost of Tsushima because you have all of the ghost weapons, you have the different stances, you have the different attacks unlocked
Oh
within the
yeah,
different
I
stances.
haven't played in a
So
while.
don't compare it apples to apples. Compare the feeling. When you went into battle in Ghost of Tsushima, you felt like, and if you didn't feel like this, let me know. I felt like I had a bunch of different ways to approach a battle situation. So if it didn't go my way, it always felt like my fault, and it always felt like I had other options to try out. I didn't feel
Yeah.
railroaded into just repeatedly banging my head against a particular wall, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
How do you feel going into encounters in Horizon? And when you are defeated, do you feel like you have options to try again in a different way?
For sure.
Okay.
There, you've got your regular bows. You've got bows that do tear damage. You've got bows that have acid, fire, shock damage. But then you've got these special abilities where, oh, this one allows me to have 5 super shots.
Mm,
So these super shots do like 300% damage or something compared to a regular bow shot, and it automatically refills your selected ammo. So that's a thing. There's a special ability that makes your melee combat attacks go up like 100% or something like that. So if you're a melee centric person, there's stuff to help you play with that style. If you like long range stuff, there's stuff like that. If you like to set traps, traps is something that I did not bother with in the first game, but it's almost essential in this game
mm,
because when you highlight that enemy track and you find out where they're going and you place that acid trap, it's weak against acid. Oh my god, like a quarter of their health is gone. So
hmm.
instead of wasting 24 fucking arrows shooting shooting at
Yeah,
the Thunderjaw, you place this trap, and now you've made the battle a lot easier for yourself, and you can go and like kind of do the fun things that you want to do.
sure.
It's so much to talk about, and I feel like I haven't talked this in depth about a game in a while. as far as the combat goes. And I really enjoy it. I don't know what else to say. It's dope as fuck.
Yeah, no, you definitely have me intrigued. We'll get into what I'm playing later on, but yeah, I definitely have a lot to say about a particularly recent game. So, and comparing it to this.
So the last game that I played this week was the Forgotten Land. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. The demo just dropped today, and it's everything I ever wanted a 3D Kirby game to be. It's just it's beautiful.
It was a lot of fun. It was very responsive. Yeah, good
It's
animations.
cute. It's very
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, it's very approachable.
Yeah, exactly. It's casual. Like Nora grabbed the game and like was just going through it and playing it
Hmm.
and doing well. And I was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
very intuitive for like younger audiences. And I
Hmm.
feel like I could actually play through co-op with my 5-year-old daughter.
Same. I went through it myself first, and you immediately, before each level, have the option to choose a harder difficulty mode or an easier mode. So the harder gets you more rewards or whatever. And I, chose the tougher difficulty, but it wasn't that tough, which I expected because it is a Kirby game. One thing to know about a Kirby game is when you go through it initially, like the main game, from start to finish, it's pretty even. Like it's going to challenge you a little bit platforming wise, but compared to a lot of the games we play, it's going to appear easy. And then you got post game bullshit that's like Cthulhu nightmare bullshit, and then it gets hard. So I
Yeah,
look forward to playing the easy part with you, with Ben, stuff like that, and then tackling the harder post game stuff later on. That's going to be a lot of fun.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, anything stand out in particular from the demo that you'd want people to know? I mean, again, the demo is out, so if you have a Nintendo Switch, you really got no excuse. You should be downloading and trying this out.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever wanted to see Kirby deep throat a car or
Who
a vending
hasn't?
machine,
Get
or
in
like the
there.
jokes have been here for years, then this is the game for you.
Get a mouth full
Yeah,
of
the mouthful
pylon.
mode is actually kind of cool.
It's great.
Yeah, I thought that it was just going to be some weird thing they tacked on, but it's essentially the Cappy mechanic.
Yeah, it feels a lot more fluid than you would expect. It doesn't seem to interrupt gameplay. What I really like about mouthful mode, aside from the obvious, is that if you have a power, so you have a copy ability, because the main
Yes,
conceit of Kirby
yes.
is you can swallow like, Poppy Bros. So you have your bombs. You're like, I don't want to lose these. And usually when you grab a new copy ability, you have to leave the old copy ability behind. But when you go into mouthful mode, it seems to be level based. Like there's a section of level where you can access being a car or
Hmm.
whatever, and you get to keep your copy ability. So for instance, if you swallow a pylon, your Poppy Bros hat will be on the top of the pylon, indicating that
Yeah,
you still have that copy ability when you exit out of it.
yeah,
And
really cool.
the mouthful abilities really seem to be to provide set piece moments and to allow you to unlock secrets or defeat many bosses, I've noticed,
Yeah. Hmm.
which is really cool. And then they seem to be really generous about giving you copy abilities before a boss fight. But if you happen to lose your ability permanently during a fight, of course, there's stuff that you can suck up as Kirby and spit it back out, usually in the form of stars that appear after enemies attack.
Hmm.
And that's all standard. What I really liked is they gave you an opportunity to play with some of the advanced copy abilities that you normally would
Yes.
have to evolve like craft style in a town.
Hmm.
Since you don't have access to that, they just toggle allowing you to use the more advanced versions of the abilities in the regular demo, which
Yeah.
Ben got to try out, because when I went through it I unlocked all that stuff, and then I handed the reins to Ben,
Same.
and then he's using the big boy versions of all the copy abilities. And like you said, just going through it, he struggled a little bit more because he doesn't play games as well as Nora does. And there were times where he's like, I can't, like he fought that, the gorilla boss at the very end. He's like, I
Yeah. Oh,
can't
she
beat
handed
it.
it to me too. I was like, "Nora, you got to suck up a star and shoot it at its butt,"
Yeah.
because she loves
Yeah, he
butt too.
tried, and I didn't let him, and he died. I think he used the ice ability, and then he got the Poppy Bros, and then just handed that gorilla his ass,
Yeah,
and like didn't even know he was doing it. He was like, "I can't do this," and I'm like, "Dude, he has a sliver
dude,
of
you're
health
doing it
left.
now.
You are doing it."
You're living the
you know.
dream, bro.
And then, I mean, you saw we were doing our notes for the show, and he's in the background still playing it. I had to peel him away from the demo that he had already gone
Hmm.
through multiple times. So he's into it. I actually, this is really cute. I had to explain to him what a demo was. He wanted to play the parts of the level that the trailer shows you. He was
Yeah,
like, I want to fly around. And I was like, honey, you can't do that. And he got frustrated because he felt like he wasn't explaining it to me correctly. And I had to calm him down. And I'm like, honey, a demo, we don't own the game. The game comes out later. And he was like, oh, well, I'm going to go back and play these other levels then. I said, okay.
right. I'm gonna be so good at this fucking game when it comes
I'm
out.
sold. Yeah,
I'm
right?
sold
Like,
too. Like that's a day.
because he
It's a
came down here
day.
wanting to play Pokemon, and then he got mad when I was like, "You should try this Kirby game first." He was like, "Oh," and then immediately he was like, "This is fun."
Nora saw it on screen. She said, "I like that one." And I was like, "Yeah, it's like Kirby, man. Kirby is
Yeah,
the OG. They don't know. These
yeah.
kids don't know
No,
about Kirby. Kirby been out for 30 plus years, probably 30 years."
I don't need a kid to enjoy this game. I do
Mm-mm.
enjoy platformers when they're done well, and who does it better than Nintendo? You know what I mean? So I'm already excited to play it, but having a kid, our kid's age to play it with,
Mm-hmm.
if we want to do the co-op with, that's really cool, and it adds a lot
Yeah,
to it. So I'm
yeah,
excited.
and having it be like one of the mainstays of Nintendo being so accessible for a kid,
Hmm.
which you would think would be like a no brainer, but like Mario Odyssey for a kid like that age would be a fucking nightmare.
It's a little tougher. Like Ben has
Yeah.
definitely tried it, and he'll definitely hand the reins off to me, and fair enough. But yeah, there's a wide range of experiences if you know where to look. It's unfortunate that they don't have maybe easier modes that you can access. Like I would love a simplified control scheme for Luigi's Mansion so he could play that, because as it stands, he really struggles with just jumping while walking forward. He has to look down at the controller and do one or the other. So like jumping onto ledges is something that he has
Hmm.
to practice a few times in order to get it correctly. He's still in that phase. So asking him to
Gotcha.
like operate, more than 3 buttons at a time, get out of here.
Yeah.
And the gyroscope? No.
Yeah.
He
That's why I
can't do
feel
it.
like you have to start them out on like the Super Nintendo. Cause that like we started out on 2 button shit and we worked our way up to 18 buttons, but they're starting on 18 buttons.
Yeah, it's like we started with a tricycle and then we put them in the cockpit of a jumbo jet.
You're right. Fly this plane now.
Fly this plane, push all of these buttons. He's like,
Fly
oh,
this plane
I
or we
don't.
all die.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And they're like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
know. And then I think I hate this now. And you're like,
Dad,
whoops.
help me. Help me do it, please.
Yeah.
No, you do it.
But I've already exposed him to these more like graphically impressive games. So when I try to show him older games or have him try them out, he doesn't take to them as
What is this
easily as I thought he
bullshit?
would. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what else you been playing?
Well, we're going to talk about it more in depth, but I ended up playing more Pokemon Legends Arceus, even though I think I said I was, pretty much done playing it mainly.
Hmm.
But I got more into it because one of my wishes came true and things were added to it.
Wishes.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
they
we're
were
going to talk more
fast.
about that in gaming news, but suffice it to say that I'm having fun with doing some additional missions and continuing to do shiny hunts. I found a shiny Drifblim. So,
Yay.
yay, just filling up that
Tripling.
box called shiny.
That shiny
I saw that you
box.
found a shiny Zorua. That was cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I evolved into a shiny Zoroark.
Zoroark. Zoroark.
Zoroark.
That typing is odd. Normal ghost. It's just
Yeah.
dead. It's just a dead thing.
Normal
Normally dead.
ghost.
Normal ghost. What's
Oh
cool
man.
though is because it's normal ghost type, ghost is weak to ghost, it can't be hit by ghost moves because of its normal typing. So that actually
Ah.
makes it stronger.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know
That's
if because of
interesting.
its ghost typing, it's not affected by fighting. I haven't tested that, but I know it can't be hit by ghosts. Actually, I don't think it can be hit by fighting moves. I have to go test that. But I just thought that was cool. I love a typing that covers the weaknesses of the other type rather than adds to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hmm.
Good stuff. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so I don't have a ton to say about that other than if you thought you finished it, you should go back because there is a fairly robust update that just occurred, and we'll discuss it in further detail here in a sec. In between releases, I decided to go ahead and pick up Paper Mario on
Oh.
N64 on the NSO. And again, I
Hmm.
never really had a chance to get into it, and it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like I was having a ton of fun with that game. It's great. What I really like about Paper Mario is the story is pretty straightforward and easy to understand. Bowser come, Bowser take princess, you go get Bowser. But they very early on show that Bowser's on another level from you. Like he's got this wand that he stole and makes him invincible. And so you have to strength. So that brings in the RPG elements. Like you got to level up. They bring in elements where you're doing your turn-based battles, but then they very quickly bring in how to strengthen your attacks and defend from attacks, making the battles more dynamic. And you have this badge system where you can find badges that you can equip that will give you new abilities or augment your abilities. And so you get really into like min-maxing Mario. And then you have
Hmm.
different companion characters that you collect and you can swap out that give you overworld abilities, like being able to reach faraway switches or get information about different areas. And then, of course, they have their own kind of attacks in battle as well. The combination of different things that you can do and the exploration factor of going from area to area and just the clever writing. It's actually kind of a quirky, funny game. It's not like gut bustingly funny,
Hmm.
but it's chuckle worthy. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
cute. It's you definitely like you smirk a lot while you're playing that game. And I'm quite impressed with it. So it sucks because we're wedged in between so many huge releases, and I think it's
Oh
going to be a while
yeah.
before I can really see it through. But
Yeah.
I'm locked in. I'm a Paper Mario fan now, as far as the original one is concerned, and I think I want to finish it this year. So I'll probably be talking about it more later, just not immediately later.
There's one more thing I want to say about Horizon. I think Aloy is boring as a main character.
That's fair. That's kind of the one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I didn't really care to come back from the first one because she has main character syndrome, you know.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm the only one who can do this, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, she has no arc. It's just from start to finish, it's I am the
I am the
protagonist
savior.
and I'm gonna protag. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's the
So, I
last thing
mean,
I do.
I would say it's par for the course or that, it's something that you have to kind of sacrifice with that type of game. But, and even though we kind of made fun of him for a similar thing, I feel like Jin from Ghost was a much more compelling character.
Oh yeah.
At least if again, I haven't played Forbidden West. Maybe things evolve, but comparing Zero Dawn to Ghost of Tsushima, Jin was a kind of a wet blanket in the beginning, but then the relationship he had with his uncle and then eventually with his father with Iki Island, how they expounded upon that, the relationship with the main villain and the supporting characters really brought a sense of who he was and his struggle. And you saw him struggle, like you saw him go through doubt, adopting this new philosophy, struggling with everything he's ever known. I mean, there was conflict there, and there was a little bit of conflict in the first game with her just trying to figure out who she was, but she
Yeah.
was she was always just doing it.
Yeah.
So
Like at
I
least
agree
in the
with you
first
there.
game, yeah, in the first game it's like she's got to come to grips with who she is and does she want to protect all these people who basically shunned her or whatever.
Hmm.
That's the in this game. I think her arc, if you want to call it that, is more so you can't do everything by yourself. You need to accept help from your friends, which is
Mm,
like basic anime shit. Which I
yeah,
love basic anime shit.
coming from you, it's interesting that you're not into it.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm into it to a certain point.
You've just seen that story one too many times.
Yeah, it seems like they went kind of Mass Effecty with it. Like, oh, you're helping all these people now. They're joining your squad, and they're at your little base area, and you get to
That
talk to
sounds
them.
really
And
cool, actually.
yeah, no, it is cool. I'm just saying, like, it very much reminded me of Mass Effect. But as far as her character development, it's just like me do by self. Me maybe need help, but me still want to do thing by self.
Yeah. Maybe she doesn't necessarily need to have a robust character because when I think of Shepard, Shepard definitely was so open because the distance between the choices you can make was so wide as far as being an asshole or a good person. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
like the different
Yeah,
things that you could say and do. I mean, I think I spent the 3 games punching the same reporter, so
yeah.
good stuff. So maybe with her taking a step back and gathering the team, I mean, does it seem like she can be snarky too? Or like, do you have options as far as how you respond? Or
They're few and far between. There are
mm,
specific moments where you have the options to respond, basically emotionally, more so with your brain, or really aggressively.
mm. But they're few and far between. You're saying,
Yes, they're very few and far
yeah.
between. I've maybe had three of those choices so far.
Yeah, maybe it should have leaned into that more, especially since it's starting to remind you of Mass Effect. Because I think the way they handled Commander Shepard was actually great, but I don't remember Commander Shepard themselves being a very realized and particular character. It was just how you played them.
Right.
Everybody's Shepard was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hmm.
In a way, I guess there's only so many different ways you could play that game, but still.
Yeah.
So Fair enough. I'm still kind of sold. I'm interested.
Yeah,
I
no,
really am.
it's
Like,
a
it sounds
great
great.
game. Like, it's great.
So I think we talked about it last week, but I was eyeballing a few games this month. The first one that would be dropping on the 4th, which is the day we're recording right now today, Triangle Strategy, right?
Hmm.
And I remember I had the demo, and so once I thought I was done with Pokemon, I was like, let me go ahead and finish this demo. And I picked it up, and I remembered I had just finished a battle, so I'm going into story stuff, and I'm like, story, and it's just like, oh, hello, this is, I don't remember the people's names, like Rosalina, she's going to be my new bride, and you must treat her like family. Oh, verily, we will treat you like family. This is my assistant Anna. Yes, I am the bookish type. Oh, well, I'm loud and boisterous, and I'm captain of the guard. And it just went on and
Tropes
on
and
and
tropes and
on.
tropes.
And it was bad writing, even worse voice acting. And I was like,
Hmm.
I can't care about these characters. And I know I didn't really give them a fair shake because I feel like you have to at least get through like one chapter. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah,
couldn't do it. I was just bored to tears. And I was like, am I going to skip this game?
yeah, that's weird.
I know, because I was really into, because you gotta believe me, I love the strategy gameplay, but it was just like, I don't know if I can suffer through the story right now. You know what I mean? It just wasn't hitting the
Hmm.
right notes for me at the time. So I was like, well, maybe I'll hold off. That's when I started playing Paper Mario. And then while I was playing Paper Mario, I was thinking, now wait a second. There was a game that I skipped because it came out around the same time Pokemon did. What was it? Oh, that's right. Dying Light 2. Now, it didn't occur to me that I could just go play Horizon because I had already decided I didn't want to play that, even though after what I heard you say today, and I've heard others say throughout the week, I was like, and then in hindsight, I'm like, I probably should have went for Horizon, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got off of this big complaining about open world video games and the tropes that you fall into, and yet Dying Light 2 is the most open world video game I have played in a long time. Ooh, okay.
It's a big beefy boy. 500
It's not
hours.
even about being big. It's about the stuff that it does that you've seen a million times before. So I got a host of notes here that I want to go through. And
All
I'll
right.
talk about some things that stood out to me. So the basic story is you're still playing as Aiden, the same guy from the first Dying Light. You're what's called a pilgrim. There are people who travel the world gathering resources and delivering or selling them to like
And spreading
settlements. Now,
disease.
yeah, well, basically the zombie epidemic spread across the world and just wiped it out. So we're post-apocalyptic now.
Mm.
Places are overgrown, trees kind of reclaimed areas, grassland, stuff like that, and it's been 15 years, which I'm going to get to why it should have been longer than that in a minute, but I guess they didn't want Aiden to be too old, right?
6 years old trying to parkour.
Now, did you play the first Dying Light?
No.
Okay. So all you need to know is like Aiden was like this GRE agent. GRE was like the global organization trying to combat the virus, but they also might be an umbrella. Like they might be a company trying to weaponize the virus as well because they were like secure the sample and they weren't really trying to help people. You got airdropped into
Hmm.
the city that was walled off that had the epidemic. So in the second game, Aiden is looking for his sister, and I guess he and his sister were experimented on by doctors. And there's supposedly, possibly, something they kind of glanced over it, a reason why he is the protagonist or why he's more resilient or tougher. Like maybe he had experimental drugs on him or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, they didn't mention any of this in the first game. At least I don't
Right.
recall that they did, unless there was something in DLC. So he's looking for his sister. Through a string of events, he runs into like one of the old doctors that I guess took care of him and his sister and the other kids. And he's like a bad guy now, leading a gang called the Renegades. And here's where it gets interesting. So the Renegades, voice acting wise, they sound like the psychos from Borderlands. So that's the tone we're in right now. Like the meat. Like they're not that over the top, but they have the same voice. So like, "Roar," they come at you, you know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
wear masks. And you escape from them with the help of a guy who gives you some information. You're like hiding an event and you can see that they got the guy cornered. And then the main bad guy walks up that leads the Renegades. and he sounds like a Far Cry villain. And the dissonance between the meat and this guy, like, my grandfather used to raise horses. I love those horses. Then one day he made me shoot one. I hated him for that. And I was like, what the fuck?
Mm,
Like, so I thought that was really weird. But then that's like a weird nitpick. And I was like, okay, they're kind of clashing themes here. The henchmen are really goofy. The villain is very serious. And then I also found the animation to be kind of poor. Like, again, we were talking about how good the animation is with the characters in Horizon.
yeah.
And you're partnered up with this guy in the beginning of the game while you're doing the tutorial stuff, like searching through an abandoned building and, you know, learning about your parkour abilities and things like that. And I'm looking at him while he's talking, and his mouth is, you know, the robot, like, bop, 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 like that. Like, it's obviously not that bad, but the facial animation's a bit stiff, right?
Right.
And then when through a series of events, I get into the main town that you're going to be in for the rest of the game, and it's pretty sizable. I get rescued, and this guy's in my face, and I'm going to post this as a TikTok later on. He's in my face, and he's speaking, and his mouth and face is animating pretty good. And then it cuts to gameplay. I'm still in the same room, and I go to talk to one of the ladies in the room, and she's like, uh-huh. Like, and her mouth just stays really wide and weird. And the animation got bad. So the animation is very inconsistent between cutscenes. It's really weird. I did enjoy that the parkour feels a lot smoother. You feel like a lot more in control of running and jumping over things. You feel like you have a good idea of your presence in the world. So I know that platforming in first person can be kind of rough for some people, but I mean, it's the best. And I feel like it was like this to an extent in the original Dying Light, but this is the best first person parkour and platforming that you're gonna get. Like,
Okay.
they really excel in that area. And the best part is you don't have to press a button, like pressing the stick or hold a button to run. He just automatically just takes off at full speed, which is
That's
great.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is nice.
In Horizon, you have to click down. You have to click down that left stick, and it's just like,
I hate it. I hate
every
it.
time.
You should be able to just default run and then maybe like tilt the stick if you want to walk. Because when do you want to walk? Maybe you want to get slow and cinematic. Or if you
Yeah.
want to sneak, you crouch and then you sneak, right? And
Right.
you have a crouch button in this game too. Now, later on, you have two skill trees. You have one for combat and one for parkour and agile bullshit. And there is an ability that will allow you to press in the stick while you're running for a short burst of speed. But that burst of speed will have you leap across like an intersection.
Damn.
So think of your average street with a building on either side of the street, like Neo style. He will leap across
Yeah.
if you use that ability.
That's
Pretty damn
wild.
good. Yeah, yeah. You jump a little farther than you human probably should. But again, that it's in service of the gameplay, so I'm not mad about that.
And maybe of the story too.
Yeah, yeah. And the way they get around cluttering up the interface with too much stuff is you have this thing called Pilgrim Sense. It's like a sonar. So if you press a button, like I think you have to hold down the right stick for a few seconds, a wave will go out and then all of the lootables and any enemies will be highlighted, right? What I
Mm-hmm.
thought was interesting, and this again goes to the difference between a AAA game with all the money like Horizon and this game where the developer maybe doesn't have as many resources, just the little things, right? I feel like in a AAA Sony game, if you're with a guy and you're sneaking in a building and you use the sonar and your character as you can see that there are bad guys in the building, they might put in a line where like the character it triggers to go, hey, there's guys down there, right? Like
Right.
you expect that from a modern game for your character to react to what you and the character sees, right? But in this
Right.
game, they're trying to sneak around. My friend's going ahead, and I can see that the place is teeming with zombies underneath us because of my radar. But my character is mum about it to his friend, doesn't warn him or anything. And it's not like that needs to happen in order for the game to be good, but it's something that stands out when I know that we can do that now. We do that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't like sixth senses that don't make sense to the gameplay
Yeah.
or to the story whatsoever. Like Horizon makes sense. You have the focus that shows you all the data on everything around you. So it makes sense
Mhm.
that you would be able to see these things.
And I feel like Aloy, if she was sneaking with somebody and she used her sense and she saw something ahead, she would audibly, like a line would trigger where
Yeah.
she'd go, hold up, there's guys ahead. Like she'd say
Mm-hmm.
something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, one good thing about that is, and I feel like this is a good design choice. You know how when someone's leading you and you have to follow them and you fuck off the beaten path to like explore,
Yeah.
and they're constantly like, over here, that's
Yeah,
not the way.
really?
Guardians of the
What do
Galaxy
you
did that a
do?
lot.
Yeah.
It was very annoying. Luckily, in this game, they go to where they're supposed to go and they wait for you, silent as the grave. They do
Yes.
not say a fucking word till you get to them. I love it.
Hmm.
I'm like, good, shut up. I know where
It's
I'm
like,
supposed
yes,
to
I'm
go.
an
I don't need you to
adult.
constantly remind me. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Like, if you want to do that because you're afraid that people aren't going to know where to go, I mean, one, I can see the person and I can use my sense if I
Right.
can't see them. But two, there should be a toggle. Like, do you want NPCs to constantly remind you what you're supposed to be doing? No, I don't. So that's a point in Dying Light's favor. The story itself, when I got into the city and I'm like trying to get to somebody who might know where my sister is, the point to point story, mission to mission to get myself ingratiated with factions and stuff is so boring. Half the time I forget what I'm doing and why.
No.
So boring. It's bad. It's dialogue delivered to you where you're locked in place and you're just looking at the person, they're looking at you and they're telling, and they move around a little bit. Like there's a little bit of animation,
Yeah.
but you don't get to move and you just have to sit there and wait for them to stop talking. And it got to the point where I was starting to skip through conversations because I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
The writing is very inconsistent and all over the place. There are people that are really goofy in a cringy way, and there are people that are so straightforward, it's boring. And they
Hmm.
do this weird thing where while they're talking to you and they're done, they'll walk off camera, right? And you don't get control of your character until like a second later to where they could have realistically walked away and they just Batman out of your life. So you go to take a mission, he's like, okay, that then you got to go and do this. And he walks off, beat, you have control, you turn around, he's gone. Like, all right, that's,
Wow.
I just find that weird. The main thing about this game that I could say against it is that environments and NPCs are recycled more than I've ever seen in an open world game since like the PS2 days. It's
Oh.
bad. It's
Mm.
really bad. The whole conceit is that you're infected, and so if you go into the dark, you have like this timer that goes off. And the more of these like injections that you find, these vaccination things, the longer you can be out of the light before the infection takes hold. And that's how you kind of like increase the threshold for your skill trees as well. The idea behind it is you can't stay, in the dark too long. And if you go in the dark during the day, all the tougher monsters are there. But if it's at night, then they clear out, and then you can do some dungeon diving, right? Some dungeon crawling,
Right.
but all of the interiors look the same. Every house in that city has the same kitchen. It has the same cabinets. It has the same trash cans. Like everything is the same. So much so that there are these government buildings that are like big dungeons that are multi-tier that you go down through, work your way to find like maybe like 4 of those injections at a time. And with 3 of them, you level up. So you're like, hell yeah, I want to go find those.
Yeah, give me that shit.
The second one I got to was so much like the first one I did. I thought I was in the first one. I had to like open up my map and check that I was in a different spot. Like the map will
Yeah.
tell you if an area has been cleared or not. So it showed me like what I got and what I hadn't gotten. And I was like, no, I haven't been here, but this looks exactly the same as the other environment I was just in. And I had that happen more than once where I was in a place like, have I been here before? I'm pretty sure I've been here before. And then you just start to recognize it. And then the NPCs you talk to, they all start to
Yeah.
look the same.
That happens in Horizon too.
It
The
does. Okay.
NPCs.
I mean, it
Yeah, the
happens in
NPCs
every
do that.
open world game to an extent, but this is extreme.
Yeah, well, for one instance, there was a story mission that I did, and I was talking to this black guy. I was like, "Wow, this black guy looks really like good. He's a good looking character." And then, like an hour later, I'm in like Tanakh territory, which is like this this warrior tribe, and it's the
Mm,
same face black dude with just tribal paint on his face. And I was like,
yeah.
"I just got done talking to you, bro."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
funny.
mean, every open world game has that to a bit, but the level of copy pasting in environments is obscene, and the NPC variation is pretty poor.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk did it the best. I thought their NPC variation was amazing. Like they
Hmm.
definitely made a lot of their characters look different, and then the quest givers and stuff, a lot of them were unique characters, which was really cool. The only thing I'm really enjoying about it is that the combat is fun. There's like perfect blocks and parries. There's a lot of the parkouring is really smooth and fun. When you die, you don't lose experience like you did in the original game. If you died, you would lose
Hmm.
experience points, which is like a detriment
Stupid.
from dying or playing really
Yeah.
recklessly. Some people may not like that because it does add tension and deter you from making like really huge risks. But I find that it's really easy to fall off buildings and die on accident when you're trying to traverse.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. The experience system does work differently at night, though. So at night, you gain more experience in combat and parkour, but you don't get the experience until the night concludes. So if you die during the night, any experience you accrued during that particular night does go away, which is fine.
Mm.
They're not taking away anything you earned. You're just lessening the amount of stuff you get when the night finishes. And when you die, you can either respawn immediately to stay in the night and try again, or you can revive right before the night finishes. And the same thing, if you die during the day, you can revive right at dawn if you want to try, nighttime play. And
Right.
they do a good job of giving you very particular stuff to do at night versus very particular stuff to do during the day. It is a checklist. It is a big sandbox full of asinine stuff to do. The gameplay is such that I enjoy playing it, but not for long spurts. Unlike Horizon, I'm not playing for 3 hours at a time. I'm playing for about an
Mm.
hour, hour and a half tops before I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to get bored with this. And then I put it down and do something constructive. So you'll be seeing more
Mm.
TikToks from me out of me lately because I'm just, unlike Pokemon, I actually am able to step away and do other things now. So maybe a positive thing. All that suffice it to say, I probably should have just got Horizon. Like, I'm happy for the podcast that we had different games to talk about, but I do
Yeah.
regret purchasing it for full price.
Yeah. I should have told you maybe not do that.
Yeah, I could have reached out to you and confided, like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this.
No.
So, but yeah, I purchased it. I'm going to go ahead and finish it on Borrowed Horizon from you. I am still interested in checking out Stranger of Paradise this month. And then, of course,
Oh yeah.
Kirby's a done deal.
Yeah,
Kirby's
Kirby's
a
in the
done deal.
bag. In the bag.
Well, let's bag it up with games we've been playing and get into gaming news. Hear it. Gaming news. So we knew it was coming up last Sunday. The day we dropped the episode, Pokemon Presents happened in the
Yeah.
morning. I feel like it was a good one. Now, they had a lot of mobile bullshit to get through. And, no shade if you like to play mobile games. None of them really stick with me, but they updated Pokemon Go. I think they got Lola Pokemon now, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon this, Pokemon that, whatever.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
two big
Okay.
pieces of news that I was really excited about, one, they gave us Arceus DLC. Now, it was in the form of a free
Woo-hoo-hoo.
update, but don't let the free update patch fool you. This is DLC.
Yeah.
They didn't add like any new Pokemon, so I think that will probably be what the paid DLC is. But what they did add was a brand new phenomenon to investigate and what they call massive mass outbreaks. So for those
Mm.
who've played Pokemon Legends Arceus, well, you probably already know what massive mass outbreaks are too, because you've probably been playing it this week. But with mass outbreaks, it's like Pokemon will show up in an area, there's a higher chance to find a shiny, and it's a bunch of them all at once. So you get a bunch of research tasks done and you get a chance to find a shiny. With this, it like starts downpouring in an area, and there are a bunch of those all over the place. And then additional things like you may get special berries that you can feed to a Munchlax so you can see what all the massive outbreak Pokemon are. There may be like a massive outbreak of Lilligant where the evolved form will show up, which is something you don't usually see in the wild. There
Mm-hmm.
could be higher chance of shinies, more evolved, tougher, just different stuff. And that's really cool. And so I've been
Yeah.
having a lot of fun playing that. And then they added like tougher battles and items and badges. Like the quest rewards were great. Every time I finish a quest in this update, they're like, here's 60 Ultra Balls. I'm like, yes, thank
Right.
you.
Yes. Thank you.
Save
Those are
that money.
expensive.
You want one free upgrade from bagging? Yes, please. I didn't get that, but that would be a cool upgrade. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time talking about it other than it's free, it's worth it, get it downloaded. And then the big thing, we didn't get a remake of a previous game, but we got something even better. They
Yeah.
announced a brand new mainline Pokemon game coming out late 2022,
Gen 9.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Back to
Now,
colors, baby. We're back.
back to the grift of two different games that are pretty much the same game,
Yeah.
which sucks, but whatever. I'll get version, you'll get a version, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Now, they showed the starters.
Yeah.
I love them. I really do. I don't know how you feel overall, but do you have a favorite and who is it?
Fuecoco, hey!
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
hey! Oh, Fuecoco,
Move it out now.
hey! I love Fuecoco,
Fuecoco.
little
I'm in
derpy
love
ass.
with Fuecoco.
Go. I choose you,
Yeah.
Fuecoco.
Oh, I love
I'm in love
Fuecoco.
with Fuecoco.
Gen 2. I'm in love. Gen 2, my favorite Pokemon was Totodile. And they
Yeah,
gave
that's
me
not.
another crocodile. Come on now.
Yeah,
I thought he was a dinosaur at first. I was like, I'll take the derpy dino for 200, Alex. But no, it was actually, they really revealed it's a little crocodile. And I don't know, is it an
it's a
apple or
fire
a pepper?
croc.
Yeah, fire
I don't
croc.
know. Probably a
I don't,
pepper if it's fire.
yeah, it wouldn't be an apple, right? It'd be a
Fire
pepper.
crotch.
I could see why people will say he kind of looks like an apple, like his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I love the little grass cat. Looks like he'd be a good buddy to smoke weed with.
Of the memes, I love the Rule 34 stuff. Not the
Oh
deep
no!
Rule 34 stuff. Like there's like
What is there a
not
non-deep version of
not
Rule 34?
well, it's like just the soft. We'll call it soft core Rule 34, where they just draw them
No,
like.
no, stop!
dude, I'm telling you, like I don't even get down like that. But they did one with all three of them, and they gave Fuecoco like some hips and
No.
and I was like,
Why
yo,
are you
I was
looking at
like,
this?
no, it was in one of my nerd groups that I'm in, and they
No,
posted
leave
it
that group. Leave it.
because I was like, you know what, I'm about to say some wild shit just to see what somebody said. I say, yo, Fuecoco looking kind of thick.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't
Oh, I
like
hate
it.
it. I hate it, but it was so funny. Oh my god. The biggest meme that I'm seeing is that like they're people taping down what is this? What is the cat's name?
I don't remember what the cat's name is.
Sprigga Toledo or something. They're taping down
Rigatoni.
its front legs, its front paws, because they're like, God damn it, Nintendo! If you don't keep this fucking cat on all fours in its evolutions,
Oh yeah, I know, right?
because it always ends up on its hind legs every time. It never fails. But like Incineroar and shit.
Sprigatito, a Fuecoco,
Yeah,
and the Quexley. So is this
yeah.
an Italy-based
I think so.
Pokemon?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. It looked like it for sure. I saw that Dratini fountain, and that made me very happy because I was like, Dratini's in it. That means Dragonite's in it.
maybe.
Yay!
Because I don't know, because there's a wheezing design on the building in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and it does not have
Oh
wheezing.
yeah.
Yeah. Just because
Mm.
it has architecture inspired by Pokemon doesn't mean that Pokemon's in the game.
Oh, they need Dratini in there though. But I did see my boy Larvitar, which evolves into Tyranitar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My favorite Gen 2 Pokemon.
Yeah. I do really like Quaxley too. He's just a little duck wearing a hat. He looks like he belongs in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Quaxley looks dope. I think design wise, the cat is the best looking, but there's just something about Fuecoco
Oh yeah.
that just I don't know. I gotta get Fuecoco. I gotta
You ain't
get
gotta tell me.
Fuecoco.
I'm pretty sure with you it's probably the hips that you saw, but that's not real, Derek. Don't expect the hips.
Yeah.
Those hips lie. Those hips actually lie.
His final evolution is gonna be dope as fuck, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't even want to evolve. I hate it when I love a starter's design so much I don't want them to evolve. Like Rowlet should never evolve.
Right, just stay my little
Rowlet,
round owl ball,
stay a
please.
little owl ball. I want owl balls. They're so cute.
You know what I hate more than evolving a Pokemon is the starters' fucking teenage forms. That's what I call them, the awkward teenage phase. They're
Yeah,
almost always ass.
yeah. Well, sometimes I don't know. I kind of like Dartrix. That's Rowlet's middle form. He does look like he looks like a goth. Like he looks like he drinks black coffee and smokes. Like I want to put eyeliner on him. I think.
Yeah, yeah, but like even Croconaw,
Yeah.
Quilava's okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I get you though. There's not too many middle evolutions I like. I feel like Charmeleon's okay. I like Charmeleon.
yeah,
I'm not really a big fan of Wartortle and Ivysaur. Well, Ivysaur is not different enough to me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean we're getting a new Pokemon game at the end of the year, so lock that one in as yes, please. Now, people were speculating because they saw Pokemon roaming the fields that it's going to play like Legends Arceus. I am not hyping myself up for that. I am not assuming that that's the case. I believe it'll probably play more like Sword and Shield.
Hmm.
Now, I hope that with the success of Arceus and the feedback that they're getting, that they will shift and be like, you know what? Maybe we should make this more like that. But the fact that it's already coming out this quickly, like at the end of the year, tells me that the gameplay design is probably fairly locked in. Like, I don't think we can
Yeah.
expect it to. Now, Legends may be its own series. To be honest, they're coming out with these games too quick. I never thought I would say that, but they need to cook. They need to cook a little
Yeah.
longer.
Well, and here's the thing. I was watching like videos on it, and people were bringing up how, Pokemon isn't just video games. It's merch, it's cards, it's plush, it's TV shows, and
Sure.
these games like have to come out to coincide with the releases of these other products.
No, they don't.
Well, I mean, for maximum Pokemon-ness.
No.
Like if you have a legit card, like a Pokemon card game version that has Pokemon from the new game that's coming up, but the game's not coming out for another 2 years,
Mm.
then it's probably not going to do as well. It's just the marketing aspect of it, where they're like, "Oh, it's got to come out. Oh, a movie tie-in game's got to come out at the same around the same time as the movie, because that's it. That's how it works."
They're sacrificing quality for that then, and people are getting pissed. Like, it sucks
But they're
because,
not getting that pissed because they're still fucking buying it.
well, that's what I was going to say. I'm still going to buy it, and a lot of people are.
Right?
I feel like, here's the thing though, they gave us Arceus. I feel
They
like
did.
they may get a pass with Scarlet Violet because it's a new generation, but if they keep pulling this shit with Pokemon games and they revert it back to the slow pace, people are going to get pissy and they're going to start to see a drop off. Like, I think if I know for sure Scarlet and Violet is super slow, that might actually hold me off from getting it, but it would have to be like Brilliant Diamond bad. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's going to be Brilliant Diamond bad.
Yeah, here's another thing. Pokemon is not aimed towards adults. It's for the babies.
Uh-huh.
It's for the babies.
The babies that can read and play RPGs. But yeah, I
Yeah,
get you. I
the
get you.
the parents are going to buy it for the babies. I think that's the core audience for the Pokemon games. But yeah, I feel you. Like people our age, we're going to be like, no, fuck that. I don't want this bullshit. Give me that
Yeah.
Legend shit.
They should make Legends the more hardcore version.
Right.
They should make it rated M. Actually, you know what? No. No, because that Rule 34 shit's gonna get
Well,
even
no, you
worse.
should do it like the manga. The manga, this shit's fucking wild. Like they
Yeah.
have Pokemon attacking trainers, Pokemon dying and shit, attacking each other. Like
Yeah, I
it's
want to see the shit that they describe in the Pokédex, like Driftblim, like murdering children. I don't want to see children getting murdered, but you know what I mean? Like, I want to see like
yeah,
hardcore, like what's underneath Mimikyu's disguise? What kind
yeah,
of eldritch horrors lie within? We need to see that.
and like just the Driftblim murdering children thing. It's like have like one episode. You know how they did Pokemon episodes back in the day, where it's just like, oh, we got to find out about the Ghastly. Oh, it's scary. Oh, but no, there's
Yeah.
no consequences. But like, yo, if we don't find where this fucking Driftblim is, a lot of children are going to fucking die.
Yeah, it's a rat. They alluded to that in Legends, but they didn't go all the way there.
Love to see that too, but they're not gonna do. They're never gonna do that.
Yeah, they got to
Never gonna
protect their brand for sure.
do
But they're the ones writing those Pokédex entries. Like, there's some
that.
wild shit in those Pokédex entries. You ever see the ones for Absol? That's dark, bruh.
Oh no, I haven't seen
So,
it. But oof. I
yeah,
love that
it's rough.
design though.
Things are unfortunately getting dark on a grand worldwide scale.
Yeah,
I know you had some things to say because for those who have been living under a rock, there's this whole threat of war with Russia and Ukraine. Russia's already invaded Ukraine. They are being fucking terrible, and it's affecting
yeah,
many different aspects of life, and it's crossed into the gaming realm as you do.
yeah. I just wanna start off by saying, fuck you, Mr. Putin. It's so fucking evil. I don't understand it. I don't understand why you would just invade. A country like it's 20. I feel like it's 2022, and we need to stop fucking around with the bullshit. Like, leave people be.
We're still recovering from this pandemic, and you clearly don't care about the people of Ukraine, but you don't care about the people of your own country because you're risking sanctions, the ire of the rest of the world, and the lives of your citizens for a power grab that is just unnecessary.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a fuck. I want it. And it's like, come on. But we're gonna go into the game aspect of it. So apparently, the Nintendo eShop in Russia is in maintenance mode now because the payment processor that they use is no longer processing the ruble. So that's already like in Russia, you cannot buy Nintendo online stuff, which is it sucks for the citizens because it's not their fault; it's their
Mhm.
fucking president's fault.
Yeah, and again, the oligarchy in Russia, I feel like they have ways around being able to access things through online sources and stores. I'm not really sure if this is affecting anybody but the regular people in Russia, but I mean, what do I know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Same thing. Microsoft, they've halted all new product and service sales in Russia. Like that's a big fuck you
Yeah.
to to Russia for sure. Good old games, none of their shit. They can't buy none of their shit. EA, you can't buy none of their shit in Russia. Sony pulled Gran Turismo 7 from being released in Russia. Like that's a big game. It's funny that EA is like, oh no, fuck that. No, that's not
Yeah.
good, but we're gonna do all this other bullshit and fuck
Well, the
over
thing
games.
is, like, a lot of them act really touch and go when it comes to like China and Taiwan and recognizing them as an independent country or the oppressive actions the government takes against the citizens. Because so much money comes, they want Chinese money, they overlook a lot of things.
Hmm.
I feel like it's easy to grandstand against a country if you feel like the financial hit from doing so doesn't outweigh the good press or PR from, quote unquote, taking a stand. So I don't
Right.
know. I'm
Yeah.
cynical about it, and I'm not even sure if it's hurting the right people. But again, I mean, it is what it is. It's one of the minor costs of this war for sure, but it just goes to show you that it doesn't just affect troops on the ground and it doesn't just affect the two countries involved. It's going to have ripples throughout the world in several different industries. I mean, I think we're already concerned about the price of gas going up.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if this has to do with the Russia-Ukraine conflict, but fucking gas is like 380 right now.
Yeah, I mean there are sanctions we're levying against Russia, including, not buying oil from them, I believe. Yeah, I don't know if it's speculation of prices that are getting temporarily driven up or actual supplies are drying up, but I know that we're opening up oil reserves of our own to offset that.
Hmm.
And again, I haven't researched this a ton, so if I'm speaking on a turn on any of these details, feel free to correct us. I haven't been following it super close. I've been reading tweets and watching people talk about it on the news, but honestly, it's it's too much to think about right now. Like it's scary.
Hmm.
It.
Hmm.
I know people are talking about World War. I don't want to go so far as to say that, but I think a lot of countries are going to get roped into it. Depending on how far this actually ends up going. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully, Vladimir gets his head out his ass.
fat
But
chance.
I don't foresee that happening. But
Yeah.
whatever.
All right, well, let's move on to some better news, I guess. You were talking about Microsoft. So Game Pass has got some interesting stuff coming and going this month. And one thing I wanted to point out, especially since I believe it was your game of the year, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, on the 10th of March. So for those who haven't had a chance to play it yet, if you have Game Pass, you have the chance to play it for free, and you definitely should. So
Yeah, I would even say go fucking buy it. Go pay for it.
yeah, I mean, they probably get a little kick just for having it
Yeah,
on
they get a
Game
kick for
Pass
downloading it,
and getting it
but
downloaded or whatever, which is probably why I won't download any Ubisoft games on Game Pass because I feel like somehow they're going to get the money through that. But yeah, if you're interested and you should be, then March 10th is the date. Now, you have until March 15th to play Near Automata, which is also an amazing game because that is leaving
yeah.
Game Pass on March 15th.
Hmm.
So, well, heads up there. The last thing I wanted to talk about this week is just a little heads up. I mean, we're into video games, and if you listen to this show, odds are that you like to track video game news. And even if you don't, there is a lot of websites involved in this next story that you may or may not frequent. So this would be good to know. The GMG Union, which is a union that represents Gizmodo, Jezebel, Kotaku, Lifehacker, and several others, they're officially on strike. As of March 1st, they've been on strike. The picket line is basically clicking on or contributing content to the associated sites. They're asking you not to cross that picket line. So if you want to know why they're striking, I will leave a website to GMG Union and their mission statement in our show notes. But for the highlights, essentially, management is endangering their healthcare, limiting, how they can access it. They're lowballing salaries, especially, during a time of inflation and in a time where everything's starting to cost a lot more money. Lowballing salaries is the last thing you want to do. They're insisting on return to office, which is why I left my previous job. Fuck that.
Yeah.
If you can do the job just as well at home, but it's like, oh, corporate culture, we need you in the office. That's just boomer bullshit. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And if you have a chance to leave your job and go do something else when they threaten to make you come back to the office, do it. They're kicking diversity efforts down the road. They're not really tackling it head on. I've seen a lot of major companies that were talking a big game during the whole George Floyd scene.
Yeah.
And they're tapering off on that. They're threatening possible forced relocations for current employees. Like, they suck. So if you support labor rights at all and you frequent any of these sites, and again, they have a list of the sites, on this website that's in the show notes, go ahead and just stay away from those sites for now. Get your news elsewhere. Continue to listen to our podcast. We'll give you the rundown. Yeah, we'll give you the who's who.
Give that rundown. You got that rundown for me, Jim?
You got that? Yeah. Is that like a regular rundown, or do you want to give me an example of a rundown so I know like which rundown you need?
Just need it by the end of the day.
Oi, just
oi,
faxing the rundown to my dad. So, yeah. So yeah, that is where that is going, and I believe that covers all the gaming news came across our radars this week. We did get a listener question, not super in depth, but I figured we could go ahead and address it. So I got this one on Spotify. Actually, Spotify has an option to ask questions or take like Q&As on podcasts. So somebody on Spotify by the name of DJ Remix, they reached out and they asked, do you know about the Cuphead game sequel by any chance? And I think probably in response to us talking about the Cuphead game, or Cuphead show, I should say, recently on Netflix. Derek, do you know about the Cuphead game sequel?
I don't know about a Cuphead game sequel.
I don't either.
Yeah, I know that they're coming out with a DLC called The Delicious Last Course. Last Course. I say that slowly.
Yeah. And it's expansion DLC, so it's probably fairly robust. That may be what he's talking about. I'm not sure. But I know with that, it's dropping on June 30th. It's coinciding with season 2 of the Cuphead show, which is also dropping this summer on Netflix. Yeah.
Damn, that's fast.
It features Miss Chalice as an actual playable, reworked to be a playable character, the legendary Chalice. And they actually show up in the last episode of the first season. Interestingly enough, I was able to finish the show.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
Oh, you did? The first 4 episodes, they introduce the devil and then they drop it. And then in the latter half, the devil shows up a bunch. And I'm like, oh, there he is.
There's my boy.
There he goes. What'd you think?
I just watched the first episode. I was like, it was like he's, let's say, the real slapstick kind of comedy.
If you're looking for fun,
yeah,
with a dash of heebie-jeebies. I wasn't into it. Yeah, I know. Again, like, it's very particular. It scratches a very particular itch. If I'm not sure how many non-Cuphead grown-up fans it's going to accrue. Like, if you don't play Cuphead, you know what I mean? And even if you have played it, because I have, recognizing the characters may not be enough. Again, I enjoyed watching it with Ben. He thought it was funny. Therefore, I thought it was funny. And it's a lot less annoying than some of the other kids' shows that he likes to watch. So it's a good compromise. All right. Hopefully that answers the question, but feel free to reach out to us using the communication tools at the end of the episode if you need to clarify or want to know about something different. I think that brings us to the end of the show. And I said I was contemplating the purpose of this, but I can't get away from my deep thoughts with Player 2. It's time for Deep Thoughts with Player 2, folks. This week's quote comes from Destiny. We got some listeners who are big fans of Destiny, so I thought I'd pull a quote from the Queen of the Reef herself, Mara Sov. Mara says, Often, when we guess at others' motives, we reveal only our own.
Mm. Oh,
I like that.
that's deep.
That's savvy. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, she's saying, you're tipping your hand when you're trying to figure out like why I do the stuff I do. It just shows me what your reasoning is like. Now you showing me what your motives are.
Yeah,
Right?
now I know
Right?
you a bitch.
Yeah.
Because that's only something a bitch would do.
Oh my God. Queen Mara, you're so hard.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah.
breakfast
She's
time.
queen for a reason.
Relax. Just sip your
It's
coffee.
breakfast time. Jesus Christ.
Please. Goodness.
Mm.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Do you interpret that line any other way? Do you think it's some baller shit to say to somebody? I mean, what are your feelings about it?
Nah, I mean you hit the nail on the head pretty much. In my little ad libbing about being a bitch is I think as far as I got with it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's a show.
Yeah, that's it's kind of a long one today. A little bit.
Yeah, I
Looking
mean,
forward to it a little bit.
after editing, it might not be. I don't know. We did a lot of preamble prior to the bid to actually starting it. We'll
Oh yeah,
see.
that's
But
true.
it's healthy. It's healthy. We had a lot to say about video games this week. Sure did.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know we didn't talk about this, but I'm thinking maybe we could have a question for the fans, and then they can answer us the next episode. Been thinking about this because I have one in mind. What
Okay.
is the best video game trailer to you personally?
Okay.
And like, yeah, you don't have to say it now, but I have one in mind that just I don't know. I don't know a better trailer. It's just something about it just spoke to me.
Okay. So instead of listener questions, we have questions to the listeners.
Yeah.
And this week's questions to the listeners is, what is the best video game trailer? Let us know. We're going to break really quick for our ad. And when we come back, we will let you know where to find us so you can get us the answer to that question, and we will read it next week. We'll be right back. And we're back. Wow. What a great ad that was. We did not re-record it yet. Will we ever? Who knows? All right. So, folks out there, they know you got the hookup. They know that you are out here hitting these streets looking for the rare video games that they need in their lives, and you're going to deliver it to them. The gamer, the goodies, the more. But where do you deliver it to them at?
I delivered to them at ebay.com/str/gamergoodies and more. Just one of the cool things that I picked up recently was a not for resale Super Mario 64. And that's that's a heavy hitter. I already sold it, but that's just an example of some of the things that I come across here in these streets. Okay. You can hit me up on Instagram at gamergoodiesmore and Twitter at goodies_more. And one more thing that I'm thinking about trying is the app Whatnot. It's basically a live streaming auction, and you put your items up, and you put like 10 seconds, 15 seconds on the clock, and every time someone bids, it adds 10 seconds to the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's getting really big and really popular, and I kind of want to get in on the ground for a little bit. Like, yeah, your stuff might go for a little less, but you'll be able to move everything you put on is going to sell.
Yeah, you're
So you're
going
going
to
to move a lot of products. So if anybody's listening that's into that, my username on there is Gamer Goodies, and I haven't decided when my first auction is going to be. I still got to figure out the logistics and all that. But when I figure it out, I'll plug it on the show, let you guys know, and you can come hang out and get to know me outside the podcast a little bit. I'll answer your chat messages and stuff, and I'll put some cool shit up for auction. Maybe even some giveaways. I don't know. It's something new. Trying to expand my business, man. So I gotta do the things to bring more bread to the table.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really excited for the endeavor, and hey, who knows? I might start selling more on Whatnot than eBay. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And
Yeah.
folks, you want somebody like Full Metal Merc in your corner. You do.
Mm.
His DMs are open on Twitter. Get at him. Let him know what you're looking for. Let him know what you're into. Check the store on a regular basis. Create a relationship with this man, and you will not be sorry. I got to tell you, 2, not 1, but 2 very rare, very hard to find amiibos I would not have if it wasn't for him out here in these streets, thinking of me when he's sorting through all that unwanted stuff that people toss to the side. They donate to the Goodwills, what have you. So you want that guy in your corner. You want him looking out for you, getting the best deal possible. All right. If you want to check us out, we're uploading a new episode every single Sunday to our hub at anchor.fm/player2 is enter the pod. But of course, we can be heard on other platforms, including Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can find us on all of the social medias, including tiktok.com/@player2 is enter the pod, facebook.com/player2 is enter the pod, youtube.com/player2 is enter the podcast. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, like, follow, comment, rate, review. However you interact with us helps us, and we very much appreciate it. If you want to help us monetarily, we have tiers and rewards for our patrons at patreon.com/player2 is enter the pod. Thank you to our patron, Jordan. We appreciate you as always. And if you want to contact us directly for listener questions, answers to questions to listeners, follow-ups to existing listener questions, guest suggestions, feedback, etc., email us at mcpaperstacks@gmail.com, and we will hit you back. Love to hear from our listeners. I think that's a show.
Yeah, man. It was a good one.
Yeah.
I was purposefully trying to bring like more energy to the show.
I feel like it came through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I did a good job.
Calling people all kinds of bitches.
Let me know in my DMs.
Slide into his DMs with pictures of Fuecoco and those hips.
Fuecoco with them hips, baby.
Apparently he's really into it.
I'm in love with Fuecoco.
In a very creepy way. All right. Thanks for coming out and listening to us. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you next week. Take care.
Peace.